Okay folks, so the last few Snare Saturday videos have been showcasing metal snare drums. Everything was revolving around a bronze snare drum, specifically the Ludwig Bronze Phonic. You got to hear the drum by itself, then you got to hear it compared to some other metal snare drums so you can hear the differences between the two. Well, in this Snare Saturday video, it's time to switch back over to wood snare drums. This time, we're going to see if you can hear the difference between the thicknesses of the different shells. Yo, what's going on everybody? Nick Costa here, and in this video, we're gonna see if you can hear the difference caused by the thickness of a drum. Being that wood snare drums can vary on how many plies or how thick the shell is, well, this video is going to help you with that by doing a blind test between two different wood snare drums of completely different thicknesses. Now, before we dive into this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell icon. That way you're notified of any additional content that I upload to the channel. So to be completely transparent with all of you, for the longest time, all of my snare drums were wood. Matter of fact, they were all 1/4-inch steam bent solid snare drums. And that is because of my affiliation with MCD, a custom drum boutique based out of Philly, PA. But then I finally bought a metal snare drum, and then I shifted and was only playing metal snare drums. And I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because of the overtones and characteristics of a metal drum. Maybe because it was in fact a different sound than what I'm used to with wood snare drums. But now I'm at a point where, depending on the situation, I'll switch back and forth between wood and metal. But going back to wood snare drums, a lot of times drummers stress over the type of wood that it is, how many plies it is, how thick the shell is. And when it comes to snare drums, some drummers believe that the thinner shells sound better, and others believe that a thicker shell sounds better. So why don't we do a blind test where we have polar opposite snare drums and have your ears decide for you which one you like the best. Now, both drums featured in this video are Ludwig snare drums. However, they are not considered their professional higher end. These are identified as more affordable options. The first one is the Ludwig Epic Brick, and the other one is the Ludwig Universal Beach Snare Drum. So let's go ahead and talk about the specs of each drum. Starting with the Brick. This is a 6.5 by 14 shell. That is depth by diameter, and it is a 20-ply birch shell. It's different than the other Epic snare drums, which were a maple birch hybrid. Ludwig released this really thick snare drum because at the time of the release, the ideal snare drum sound was a really high, tight tuning. So go ahead and tune your drum to that, but make it 20-ply birch, and it's going to give you that really direct, punchy sound. This drum is outfitted with 20 single-sided Epic lugs. That's 10 lugs on the top and 10 lugs on the bottom. Triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom, and they should be 2.3 millimeter just based off of the era this drum was released. Ludwig's Epic throw-off and butt plate, as well as my preferred heads of choice, which is a Remo Ambassador X coated on the top and an Ambassador snare side on the bottom. Finally, the snare wires on this drum are the generic snare wires that came with the Epic Brick. Now let's go ahead and talk about the specs of the Universal Beach snare drum. This is a 6.5 by 14 6-ply beach shell. Once again, that's depth by diameter. This drum is outfitted with 10 double-sided tube lugs, 2.3 millimeter triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom, Ludwig's P88I throw-off and P35 butt plate, as well as my preferred heads of choice, which is a Remo Ambassador X coated on the top and an Ambassador snare side on the bottom. Finally, this drum is outfitted with a set of the generic snare wires that are offered with the Ludwig Universal Beach snare drum. So in this video, it's going to be a blind test, meaning you're going to have to use your ears as you hear the differences between the two drums. During this blind test, you're going to hear each drum back to back through 3 different tunings: a low tuning, a medium tuning, and a high tuning. So let's go ahead and dive into this blind test. But rather than having a blank screen, because that's super boring, here's some more royalty-free B-roll. now that you've had the chance to hear both drums through 3 different tunings, go ahead and leave what you think each drum is in the comment section below. And if you would like to get a second chance to hear these drums, let's do this blind test again. So here's some more royalty-free B-roll. Alright, so now that you've had the chance to hear these drums through 3 different tunings 2 times, did the second time you hear these drums change what you thought each drum was? Or did it just confirm what you thought each drum was? Either way, leave it in the comment section below letting me know, because that's way more fun than scrubbing to the end of the video when we reveal what drum is which. So now the moment of truth, the time to reveal what drum is which. But rather than me just telling you, here is the video that goes along with the audio you just heard. there you have it, 2 different wood snare drums. One was 6-ply beech, the other was 20-ply birch. Were you surprised with what you heard? Or did this video just confirm what you prefer actually aligns with what you're hearing? I would love to know, so leave it in the comment section below. Now, if you have any other additional questions on either drum, maybe the gear that I'm playing, or how I was tuning each snare drum, feel free to leave that in the comment section as well, and I'll try my best to answer them. Now, if you would like to hear these drums featured through a few more tunings, I put links to the Snare Saturday videos where I featured each drum individually in the description below. And if you want to check out some of the other Snare Saturday videos, I put a link to the playlist in the description below, and I'll also have it come up right here for you to check it out. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. That way it makes it a little bit easier for others to find it. And that is it. Thank you so much for checking out this video on Can You Hear the Difference Caused by the Thickness of a Drum? And until next time, see you later.